Guys, we're coming up to yet another set of springs, and these springs really help us define the future, the history of our lake. The springs we're going to be coming up to are called Cream of Wheat, and in fact, it's our largest collection of low-pressure springs we have here at the lake.
Whoa! The sand's bubbling.
Yeah, there's like oatmeal.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, we call this cream of wheat just because it looks like boiling cream of wheat. It doesn't taste like it, but you know, it looks like it.
Oh wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. A lot of bubbling.
We're going to back up and drive straight through it again. Wind pushed us back a little bit. Now, like I said, those springs will really help us talk about the history of our lake. Do y'all know how many natural lakes there are in Texas? There's only one. It's called Caddo Lake in East Texas. And in fact, we only own about 1/4 of it. Now that means every other lake that you guys have possibly swam in, seen, etc., those will be artificial lakes, and this one is no exception. Most of those lakes are created by damming up a river, and in fact, the original San Marcos River started right below us, right from these springs. And so in 1849, a man named General Edward Burleson came to this area and ended up damming that original San Marcos River to create the Spring Lake as we know it. And he did that because he had built a mill at the very end of the lake. So to power that, he dammed up that original river. Now the water raised 16 feet on average when he did that. So this area used to look much different. There's much more dry land on the left and right sides, and there would have been a rapid river running through this. Now, in fact, we're going to be able to check out the original riverbed of the old San Marcos. Now the dam we have currently, the dam has a spillway at the very end. So all of the excess water that comes out of our springs is actually what develops and creates the modern San Marcos River. Don't mind me. It's got some grass on it. Now that vegetation that we see right below us, right here, looks a little bit like raccoon's tail. That is the hornswort, and that grows. That's the very quick growing vegetation.
Wow.
You got some other types though. If y'all see some, looks almost like columns of fried potato chips. If y'all have ever seen those. That is called kabamba. That plant is very interesting. It can actually develop flowers underwater. It develops those flowers because it's being signaled that it's time to reproduce, and it thinks that it's outside the water because the water is so clear.
That is cool.
To be honest, I do not know. I've heard that people make salads and stuff out of some of these plants, but I'm not quite sure which ones are edible. I do know some that are inedible, such as the elephant's ear. Elephant's ear contains something called calcium oxalate, and basically tiny little spikes that if you try to eat the plant, that will scratch up your throat.
We don't know that.
Nope, just something.
Don't eat elephant.
Yeah, I agree.
Yuck. I saw something that was
Y'all may have noticed
red.
that we do have some trees located at the bottom of our lake. Those trees fell in when the lake was created. They were not able to standing up in the vast pressures created by the water. So eventually they tipped over. But what is very cool about that is the fact that our waters here are very calcium rich. And the calcium is actually overtaking the organic components of the tree, turning it into stone, basically being petrified underwater. And it happens very quickly underwater. It only takes about 300 years to fully petrify underwater.